John Nadler, will we eventually see central bank selling of gold?
Look, it's entirely conceivable that the paradigm could shift sufficiently for certain central banks to consider mobilizing this asset. We've seen cycles in central bank behavior: acquisition mode, disposal mode. It's not inconceivable that one or two pressed countries could mobilize some part of their gold. Italy comes to mind. At the end of the day, because it's not a whole lot of money, I'm not afraid of this threat per se. But any pause in central bank acquisition of gold at this point would not be very welcome by the gold market, given its current fundamental structure.
Well, how much does Italy have? In this scenario, who would be the big sellers and who would be the big buyers?
Well, like I said, the sellers are easier to identify. It's anybody with the stressed out budgets. And of course, Italy, Spain, Portugal certainly have proportions of gold in reserve that are fairly large. 3,000 tons for Italy is, not an insignificant number. The biggest holders, of course, are not willing to let go, and I'm talking about the U.S. and Germany. They're treating gold with a case of benign neglect, but that's good because at the end of the day, that means it stays in the basement.
From a logistical point of view, how does gold get sold? Do they take the bars from Rome and they move them over to Fort Knox? How does it work?
Generally speaking, no, it's as simple as probably a cage-to-cage transfer under the basement a few blocks away. But in some cases, you can have actual physical movements of bars if a buyer decides that they want total control and actual shipment. So it's not inconceivable to put it on a plane.
And speaking of the United States and its gold reserves, how much do we have? Everyone hears about Fort Knox, and around the corner at the Federal Reserve Building in Lower Manhattan, we hear there's a whole lot of gold here. How much do we have?
In aggregate, the gold holdings amount to about 8,130 plus tons. What's interesting about that is the fact that the GAO unfortunately values that gold at $42.20 an ounce, which is the old metric, and that's unfortunate because really at the end of the day, if you brought it mark to market, you could certainly wipe out a lot of red budgetary ink in the U.S.
But would that cause a panic if the United States is selling gold and China's buying? Would that cause a panic in the market?
If the U.S. were to come to market with a gold sale, absolutely, it would do untold psychological damage to the market. Same as, by the way, a giant boost to the gold market would be brought about by some overt large tonnage, 2,000 or 3,000 ton acquisition by China. Of course, China is very smart and knows exactly that they don't want to shoot themselves in the foot with such a purchase in a public fashion.
Thanks a lot.
This market is fueled
Stock tickers market.
Stocks have rallied this year.
We're coming into a Monday where we're going to